Hey, friends. Hey, neighbors. It is Emily, and I am gearing up for the February 2023 Fairfield Harbour Beacon. That is a public newsletter about things happening in and around the Fairfield Harbour community. And there's a lot coming up in February. We got Super Bowl 57 coming. And we also did a lot in January that was touted on the social. So I'm going to be trying to mention some of that as well. And there are some things coming up that have been posted on the socials in the last couple of days that didn't make it into the beacon, but that are happening in February. So I'm going to try to pull those up. You all know me by now with technology. So let's be gentle. It's mid-morning, still drinking coffee. So I want to first shout out Mary Swan. Mary is the contributor of the photo for the beacon this month. And I mean, it just doesn't get much more beautiful than that. I mean, the sunsets here, y'all, they're gorgeous. So thank you, Mary, for taking this photo and for sharing it with us. And as always, for those of you that get the beacon, you can always submit photos for inclusion in the Fairfield Harbour digest, and you can find other photos that have been submitted here. So thank you, Mary. I appreciate it. I tried to make it the background, but it looks like with the issues we've been having with internet today, I think it just came back up just in time to watch Punxsutawney Phil announce that there's 6 more weeks of winter. I did hear that the Georgia groundhog predicted that spring's coming early, so I'm going to just stop watching Punxsutawney Phil. I mean, he's a northerner anyway. And I'm going to just move my focus in future years to the Philadelphia or to the Georgia groundhog. We know we want summer to be here fast. Georgia seems to understand the assignment a little bit better. So having said that, let me scroll on down here. I'm excited to read some of these new events. As always, we're going to click on the calendar here. Thank you, Celeste, for maintaining this calendar for us. Not really sure why the Pinterest save button is just hovering, but I went through these on Monday as we got started with the week. Today, what is today? Today, Thursday. Your kids go to Arapahoe. Don't forget they don't have school tomorrow. It's a teacher work day. But today is Thursday. I'm assuming the men had a wonderful coffee hour this morning from 7 to 8. Tai Chi Chuan is happening now. What time is it? No, it's 9:57. It's getting ready to end, but I hope that they had a great time. We've got moving to the oldies exercise coming up right before lunch, and we've got contemporary needle arts and mahjong for beginners and intermediate happening this afternoon. Then tomorrow we've got stretch and tone exercises at 7:30. A men's Bible study from 8 to 9 at the Activity Center, Room 2. Zumba and Canasta. I might drop my kids in for Zumba in the morning, let them burn out some energy as we prepare for the teacher workday. Yeah, let's see what's coming up on the 7th. So today's the 2nd. It's Groundhog Day. Depending on where you watch the groundhog, we may or may not be having 6 more weeks of winter. But the Harbor Lights players are going to meet tonight. So definitely attend that if you participate or want to participate in the Harbor Lights players. And then next week, we got sign language finger spelling coming up at 4 o'clock on the 7th. There's a neighborhood watch meeting at 4:30 in Activity Room 2 on Tuesday. Then dinner trivia at 6 p.m. Reservations are required at the restaurant next Tuesday. So this neighborhood watch meeting happening at 4:30. Cindy, I'm going to reach out to you. I would love to attend those. We for sure keep a watch over here on Plymouth, but very hard for a 4:30 meeting for those that work and or have kids. We have to get off the school bus and out from school, carpool. I would love to figure out how we can get information about the neighborhood watch, especially given everything that's been happening, and post it out on the socials. I would love to get more information out to on this channel about that. So please let me know how we can get involved. I'll reach out to you later today. All right, so that's the calendar coming up. I'll go over that again on Sunday night, Monday morning, just so we plan for next week. Let's talk about our highlights. What are we doing? Features. This is going to be so slow for me today, isn't it? RMG and Fairfield Harbour, longtime partners. Nestled in the heart of Fairfield Harbour is an active and vibrant timeshare vacation facility called Resort Management Group. And a timeshare, by definition, is an arrangement whereby several joint owners have the right to use a property as a vacation home under a timeshare agreement. RMG's long history in Fairfield Harbour has amassed over 600,000 members that occupy 96 units year-round. A lot of people. I had no idea. The first timeshare vacation units built in the 1980s were Fairfield Communities, which later became Wyndham Resorts. At that time, Fairfield Communities sold properties that offered vacation lodging in Fairfield Harbour while potential buyers toured the area. Many folks who originally bought in Fairfield Harbour found our community through the timeshare experience. Oh, look, the Stevenson timeshare vacation in Fairfield Harbour in 1984. Oh, we first discovered Fairfield Harbour through our timeshare vacations and fell in love with Fairfield and Newbern. In 2007, we moved to Fairfield permanently. Dave and Gerald Stevenson, residents since 2007. It's amazing. The Timeshare Association's early years offered exceptional amenities, including a recreation center with 2 pools, whirlpools, tennis courts, and playgrounds for the children, all within the excitement of a new community's construction. Like a little yearbook for Fairfield Harbour. I like it. Wyndham hired RMG to manage the timeshare associations in 2011. When Aaron won as president, RMG evolved through the years. RMG now has 22 employees that fulfill numerous roles in the resort that range from booking guests to maintaining the units to managing Broad Creek Recreation Center, the rec center. Aaron acknowledges summer is our busiest season for timeshare vacations, but we manage property rentals on a year-round basis. Our full-service property management business is thriving. RMG has 4 units: Fairway Villas, Sandcastle Village, Windjammer 1, and Windjammer 2. Today, the active timeshare resort has a mix of occupants that fall into 3 categories. The original owners, that's about 25% of the occupants that come. Exchange guests at 50%, people from all over the world that share their vacation properties. And renters at 25%, people buying or building a new home or other renters such as traveling nurses. Telling you what, that nurse traveling business, that's where it's at. After Florence devastated Fairfield Harbour, RMG rebuilt and remodeled 16 units and the rec center. We go to the rec center. We're there pretty much every day all summer. It's a lot of fun, and we love the pool, indoor and out. It's great. An indoor pool is heated, and we don't hear a lot about them, but we saw them at the parade in December. But the Swimtastics team, they do water aerobics. We've been over there when they come into the pool in the evenings, and they have a lot of fun. RMG's Rec Center is a hub of activity for timeshare guests and harbor residents. The Rec Center includes over 500 Fairfield Harbour members. The Rec Center offers a fitness center, 2 pools, one inside and out, and the inside pool is heated. Note to self. A sauna, a jacuzzi, tennis courts, a playground, bikes for rent, basketball courts, mini golf, volleyball, and a pavilion that's available for rent. The Rec Center offers many activities such as high-intensity exercise classes, yoga, swimnastics, movies, and monthly special events. Sarah Herman, Vice President, and Andrea McConnell, Resort Manager, who work full-time at RMG, are living testimonials to the Rec Center's exercise benefits. Andrea started with Wyndham Resorts as the Recreation Manager in 1999 and was promoted to Resort Manager in January 2020. Sarah teaches the yoga class on Wednesday mornings. I want the stretching for myself, and it's rewarding to watch our members attend the class. Andrea still teaches the high intensity interval training, the HIT classes, if you will, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It keeps me fit, and I enjoy helping others gain strength and focus on improving their health. Swimnastics is a popular exercise activity at the Rec Center with various classes offered. This is good. So the exercise class schedule. So they offer the high intensity interval training or HIIT training Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 to 9 a.m. and Andrew leads those. Wednesdays from 8:30 to 9:30, Sarah takes us through yoga. Stretch classes are Monday and Friday from 8 to 9 with March Dress. Gymnastics classes Monday and Tuesday 9 to 10 a.m. with Jenny Banchins. Wednesday and Thursday and Friday 9 to 10 a.m. And then the instructors vary: Barb, Jan, and Hetty. Pickleball is on Tuesdays from 9 to 10 with Roberta Del Busto, and pickleball on what's that? Tuesdays. There's just open play from 10 to 11. No instructor, open play. Pickleball. That's right. So if you have questions about Rec Center membership, please call 252-638-8011, extension 44270. You can also visit the Rec Center in person to get information. They have sheets of, when we joined, I guess, 2 summers ago, we just walked in and they handed us a sheet. It's a couple $100 a year, but like I said, my kids, we make sure we get our money's worth in the summer. Resort Management Group, just a note, is a full-service property management firm specializing in timeshare condominium management at the resort at Fairfield Harbour. We offer short-term and long-term furnished rentals at great prices, and you can book online at our website at ncrmg.com or call 252-638-8011 to reserve your stay. If you need extra lodging for guests, remember RMG to accommodate your visitors. That's great information as someone who has folks come from out of town this weekend. And they often stay over on Atlantic Beach. They like the ocean. But this is good. We can think about this instead of a hotel nearby. Thank you for this article. Learn something new literally every time I do this. So let's go back and see what other features we have. Art. Going to touch your heart and soul. Look at these beautiful ladies. Masterful. Original members of the group were Janet Heights, Liz Allen, and Brenda Singh. If you walk into the activity centers on Thursday mornings, you will hear women's contagious laughter and chatter. Upon closer examination, they can be found engaged in painting as well. Janet Heights started the watercolor painting group about a year ago. Janet moved here from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. She was active in the arts community there. When she moved here, she started looking for other artists, and by participating in community art market, she found many people who like paint. Janet, previously a school social worker and counselor, likes to paint because it allows her to look at the world more closely and pay attention to the beauty all around us. Janet was recently accepted into the Community Arts Gallery and Studios, CAGS, or CAG, in downtown New Bern for her watercolors and acrylics. Several painters in this group are members of CAGS, where their work is displayed. The Pointe restaurant has recently begun to feature the work of local artists, including many from this group. If you observe the group, you hear the language of art, including terms like shadowing, values, and warm and cool temperatures. Veteran painters help each other and offer suggestions to those just getting started. The warmth and welcome feeling in the group are what stand out, leading to the free expression of art. Walking around the room is evident that every interpretation is different, even though the artists often paint the same display. New painter Pam Gaskell pointed out that every artist has her or his own style, and you can often identify which artist has painted which painting. Everyone brings their own art equipment acquired through art stores in town and online, although sharing is also an integral part of the classes. Experienced painter Deb Burrington pointed out that the stable value in art is composition and design. She said that this concept applies to art in everyday life, such as knowing how to design a room, home. Before moving here, Deb owned a painting and frame business in Vermont. Painting has always been a part of life since childhood. Her mother was an artist. Deb has been painting all her adult life and is still busy taking art classes and seminars and learning more. She loves painting so much that she often gets up at 5:30 a.m. and paints. Deb, you ever want to come over at 5:30 and have a glass of coffee and help me get my kids out the door? Maybe you can paint the chaos. um, this group has a wide range of experience and includes women that have been painting most of their adult lives to beginners. Leonardo da Vinci said that art is never finished, only abandoned. Several women started the painting some years ago, but their art on hiatus, they are thrilled to be painting again. The contagious laughter and camaraderie of the group is a magnet for other artists. Donna Clark was getting her hair done and heard all the laughter when she went and investigated. She was intrigued and soon joined the group. Donna painted in the past, but joining the group has rekindled her passion for art. She worked as a credit manager and is relatively new to Fairfield Harbour after moving here from New Hampshire. It's a perfect way to meet new neighbors and feed her creative side. Lucia also took up watercolor painting again after hiatus. Having moved here from Maryland and worked as a computer specialist, she's an accomplished basket maker and displays unique woven art at the Community Arts Gallery. After a 10-year hiatus from painting, Gina Wirtz is enjoying painting again and being with this group. During her time off, she kept drawing on her iPad and utilized technology to help her painting. She pointed out that after she takes a picture of a subject, she turns it into black and white, which helps her identify the shadows and intricacies of the subject and bring depth to her work. After working in medicine, she finds that art brings her pure joy and is her happy place. Brenda Stain started painting with acrylics during COVID when she needed another hobby in addition to gardening and puzzles. She finds that working with watercolors helps her with working with acrylics. Being a prolific painter, she has around 50 paintings in her home. After working as an occupational health inspector, she always felt like there was an artist wanting to escape. She also has a gift basket company in town. Ray Lynn uh, Longini is brand new to the group and is enjoying being able to express her artistic art through painting. An accomplished musician and elementary school teacher, she was frustrated with the difficulty playing her guitar and wanted to find another creative outlet. Ray Lynn is a person who brings art to her home by planning her decor as well as creative writing. Pam Gaskell has been painting for about 6 months and enjoys the painting as well as the camaraderie of the group. A former elementary school teacher in Ohio, that's a tough one. Pam has always been creative, evidenced by her sewing, home decoration, and writing. Watercolors have provided another outlet for her creativity. When you see the arts of Lila Spoon, you are immediately drawn in by the expressed lightheartedness displayed in her art. Lila has been painting for 8 years and likes to learn the cards she shares with lucky friends. A teacher told her as a child she wasn't very good at art, so she never pursued it until later. She moved here from Arizona and has found this group to be very welcoming and an excellent way to meet people. Well, they took their art outside, a beautiful day to paint by the water. Even non-painters can appreciate the art, the creativity, and the warm feeling that is going on in this room. One of the artists pointed out that good art touches your heart and soul, which precisely is what's going on in this class with this group of artists. Ladies, that is wonderful. You know, we did the Valentine's Day, making Valentines for the senior centers and in Pamlico and Craven counties this past weekend. Ashley Banks organized that, and no kids were harmed in the making of any of those Valentines. But we had a lot of fun, and I met a lot of folks I had seen maybe once or twice, but had not put like a face with a name, and being able to have like some one-on-one conversation. Oh yeah, I know that person. Oh yeah, that's great. And then we also had some new folks that just moved into Fairfield Harbour and didn't really know anybody, and it was really great to meet them as well. And the kids got to play at Red Cell Park. But this, I love, love, love everything that we do in our community that creates connection. I feel like that is such a big part of wanting to live in a community like this. Let's talk about Fred Lacey, Captain Fred Lacey sailing adventure, delivering squalls deep to Fairfield Harbour from St. Lucia. That sounds fun. Captain's log, November 16th, 2022. I feel like I should read this like a pirate, but that would be hard for you to listen to. So. The day has finally come to begin the delivery of SV Squalls Deep, a passage I have been planning for the better part of 3 months, starting at the small airport in my hometown of New Bern, North Carolina. I love these photos. Captain Fred Lacey's sailing adventure, delivering squalls deep to Fairfield Harbour from St. Lucia. Squalls Deep is a sailing sloop, the world-renowned Moorings Yacht Charters, based in St. Lucia at Rodney Bay Marina. This well-traveled yacht has reached her retirement at the ripe old age of 5 years. Dr. Nicholas Placentra has a new neighbor, recently purchased Deep Squalls. Placentra hired me, I hope I'm saying that last name right, to deliver her to Blackbeard Sailing Club on Broad Creek, just off the Neuse River. I'm Captain Fred E. Lacey III. I earned my Merchant Mariner Credential Limited to OUPP in May of 2018. However, I've spent nearly all my life on the waterfront messing around in boats and ships. A retired ship fitter with 38 years in the trade, I helped build and repair U.S. Navy warships in the Hampton Roads area of Southeast Virginia. My sailing experience began on my father's various sailboats from age 2 until I graduated from high school in 1977. I stayed away from sailing as a young man while learning the shipyard trade. I married at 28 years old and was soon a father of 2 daughters. Bless you. 10 years later, with another baby, I purchased a 26-foot sloop at age 40. 5 years later, I bought a 34-foot sloop. And 10 years later, I purchased my current vessel, a 43-foot sloop. Most of my sailing experience was in the Chesapeake Bay and James Rivers from 1999 to 2016. A majority of the sailing was single-handed. Racing on friends' sailboats was also a pastime I enjoyed on the Chesapeake Bay area. The rest was sailing with my 3 daughters as they grew up. My wife did not enjoy sailing. She didn't appreciate the boat heeling over in a good breeze. 3 friends are sailing with me on this delivery, all of whom are over 60 years old. It was not difficult to entice these 3 men to join me as crew aboard Squalls Deep. An opportunity such as this does not happen twice in a lifetime. All expenses paid and a paycheck upon completion. What's not to like? Only time will tell. The first mate was Brian Sousa, a retired electronics engineer who was an excellent liaison between myself and the boat's electronics. He's my next door neighbor and owns a 42-foot sailing yacht. The first deckhand was John Vanderlyn, a master self-employed carpenter, an owner of 2 sailboats and decades of sailing experience found him to be good crew. The third deckhand was Russell Lotzer, a former U.S. Navy corpsman and Vietnam veteran with essential first aid skills. He also owned a sailboat in the past. The crew agreed readily to jump on board. For Russell, it was a bucket list fulfillment. Brian and his wife were planning a similar voyage, and he wanted the experience. And after a short flight to Charlotte, our connecting flight to St. Lucia had us landing in the early afternoon on the tropical island. A 90-minute taxi ride delivered us to Rodney Bay Marina at the northwest corner of the island. Lynn Volney is the Moorings Sun Sail Charter Space Manager, a young, charming, and capable woman whose down-to-earth ways made the job of getting aboard and settled easy. Her crew was a huge help to us getting familiar with the boat and that we call home for the next 2 or 3 weeks. We provisioned the boat quickly on our first day in St. Lucia and shoved off at 4:15 in the afternoon. The first destination was Roadtown Harbor in Tortola. The trade winds blowing consistently from the east, we were on a starboard reach the entire passage. The third and final night produced the worst weather of the entire journey. East winds increased to 29 knots with rain squalls. Wave heights at 9 feet made for uncomfortable conditions in the cockpit as first mate Brian and I sailed till morning. That morning, we arrived in the British Virgin Islands after clearing with customs and immigration. We docked at the moorings charter base. The following day, we were outfitted with new headsail owned to the new owner of Squall's Deep. The next morning, we sailed to St. Thomas. We docked at Crown Bay Marina in Charlotte Amalie, St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. The new owner was improving the rigging on board, and a rigging contractor arrived the next morning to install the new winch and a spinnaker halyard system on board. The crew and I spent the day provisioning and preparing the boat for the next leg of the passage. Now, I don't know a whole lot about sailing. I've learned a lot from our neighbors, Ray and Jamie. I think they've sailed most of their adult life. But I think I would have spent some more time on these islands before I just hurried on back to North Carolina. Um, yeah, I don't think I would have been rushing. It feels like we were rushing back home. I would have maybe had a lot more stories about the joints that I had the night before, which is probably why I wasn't hired to bring this boat back. Mhm. All right. The original route was to sail from St. Thomas directly to Beaufort, North Carolina. This passage should take about 10 days at 6 knots. The weather forecast would have to provide us with enough wind to sail most of the time. The boat only had 53 gallons of capacity in our fuel tanks, and we added 3 to 5 gallons of fuel cannons on deck as supplemental capacity. This total fuel on board only allowed 4 days of motoring time. The weather conditions were looking a little rough going from the northern route to Beaufort. The alternate route would be west to southern Florida, possibly through the Bahamas. The same fuel constraints would have applied to both courses. Also, the eastern winds would have to remain about 12 knots to keep us on a timely schedule. This route was not desirable to me as it would have added an extra week to the journey. Again, an extra week in the Bahamas. I'm not so sure I wouldn't have chosen that route. I'm sure you know way more than me and are like, "Girl, keep reading." Um, but this route was not visible to me as it would have added an extra week to the journey. Thankfully, weather conditions changed 2 days later, and I decided to change course and proceed north as initially planned. We had left St. Thomas on Thanksgiving Day, November 24th at 10:45 a.m., and on the second day out, we turned north to Beaufort. Now, with 10 knots of east winds, we sailed north into calmer seas of the horse latitudes. Motor sailing for a couple days, the wind finally freshened from the east, and we were making good time again. The crew and I settled into the routine of our 6-hour watch schedule. We all took turns cooking dinner and breakfast in the galley and ate well. The time of watch was primarily spent sleeping, and the 6-hour watch worked well enough. The temperature dropped as we made our way north, and the shorts and t-shirts gave way to winter clothing as we neared the Carolinas. Crossing the Gulf Stream was unnoticed as a favorable south wind eased us across the finish line to Beaufort Inlet. We docked at Beaufort Docks in the dark at 8 p.m. on December 3rd. The next morning, we sailed Squall's Deep to my home and docked in Fairfield Harbour. After unloading luggage and provisions, the passage was complete. I thoroughly cleaned the boat inside and out the next day. This yacht was delivered this yacht delivery was a complete success. 16 days underway, 3 days in, 3 different ports. The boat did everything I asked of her, and she got us home safely without fail. The owner was happy as I could tell. I look forward to more deliveries in the future. Well, Captain Fred Lacey, and all of your crewmen, that sounds like a remarkable trip. Again, I'm not sure that I would have made it back as fast. I also my husband, we have a boat, and I am once it's like chilly on the boat, I just can't anymore. So I applaud you guys reading that back and changing from shorts and t-shirts into winter gear. I would have not been as excited as you seem to be about the whole thing. All right, the coast is clear. Speaking of boats and our waterways, what is an ADV, you might ask? An ADV is an abandoned and disabled vessel. And that is what we had in Northwest Creek across from Northwest Creek Marina for almost 2 whole years. Thank you, Olwen and Bill Jarvis, for the photos you took from your waterfront during the process of getting this abandoned and disabled vessel, ADV, removed from Northwest Creek. Background: a barge with 24,000-pound excavator sank in January of 2021 in the channel across the Northwest Creek Marina due to a contractor's negligence. The sunken debris caused obstruction in our navigational channels, damaged our ecosystem, and diminished the recreational value of our surrounding area. It also contained fuel and hazardous materials which leaked into the surrounding water. Through the legal definition of abandoned and derelict vessels, ADV, did I read that wrong for a minute? Okay, derelict vessels. Maybe ADV is abandoned and derelict vessels. Vessels in significant disrepair that may pose a threat to the public or environment are often considered ADV. Derelict frequently refers to vessels that are dilapidated with an inidentifiable owner, while abandoned vessels are those where the owner is unknown or has surrendered rights of ownership. Okay, so they're either derelict, dilapidated vessels with an identifiable owner, or abandoned vessels where the owner is unknown. Okay. On the day it sank, Jennifer and the community manager notified the North Carolina Wildlife Commission, CAMA, the Army Corps of Engineers, Commissioner Tom Mark, and the Board of Directors and the Coast Guard. Harbor residents and the Coast Guard auxiliary members continued to report navigational dangers, leaks, debris floating, and tires and fenders floating to the surface. The crane boom broke loose in a windstorm and caused additional hazardous navigational problems. After several months chasing the problem, Jennifer confirmed that North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission started the excavation process on a state level. Fall of 2021, Jennifer transferred the efforts to board member Doug King. In 2021, waterfront liaison for Fairfield Harbour Property Owners Association. Doug King and Commissioner Tom Mark continue to follow up. In September of 2022, the North Carolina Wildlife Commission contacted Jennifer asking for specific details on the position and coordinates of the ADV and assured her that the removal was close. In January 2023, the removal process started. The North Carolina Wildlife Commission hired the dead cow vessel to lift the barge and excavator out of the water. Craig Cannon, the owner of the dead cow vessel, has 35 years of experience in wreck removals. Cannon is the diver who attached 6 lift bags to the wreck. At first underwater inspection, most of the barge was buried in 6 feet of mud. The water temperature at the barge level was 34 degrees. He dove into the wreck and attached 6 flotation pillows and chains. After that, the process calls for slow, steady removal. The pillows gradually lift the wreckage to the surface. As the wreck surfaces, Cannon used chains to continue the process. Gradual is the key because if pulled out too quickly, the wreck could break apart. That would, of course, be another huge problem. It took 2 weeks to remove the ADV due to cold water temperatures and conditions. And let's not forget, it was buried in 6 feet of mud. And there likely was an alligator slipping in it. When the debris was pulled from the water, Cannon used the former boat ramp off of Harborside Drive to stage removal by land. Cannon thanks and compliments the Fairfield Harbour Property Owners Association President, Phil Hewett, for his support and cooperation during the process. Cannon also appreciates Jeremy McConnell, Northwest Creek Marina's general manager, for allowing him to keep the dead cow at Northwest Creek Marina. It saved Cannon many hours by not relaunching the dead cow each time. McConnell commented on the project. Thank you, Craig Cannon, for a professional job well done. He used caution and safety during the whole process. We are very appreciative you have the wreck removed from our channel. But now the coast is clear, so to speak. Thank you to everyone who contributed their time and energy to make our water safe again. Dead Cow is a 53-foot keeled pilot boat initially used in the Boston Harbor as an icebreaker. She has a V berth with a small small galley and has 1,100-mile range. Who knew? Well, thank you everybody for taking pictures so that we could see those in this month weekend, and also for everyone who took the time to kind of press on over 2 years. It's a very long process, it seems like, to get everyone coordinated, but it's not usually the case. But I know we will be very happy as we wrap up with this marina and do not have to navigate that large of water. So I wish I bought a soundboard so that we could hear some applause, but it's not working. I don't know how to do that. So this is me applauding you. I appreciate it. All right, let's talk about our pet of the month. We've got new Bengal kittens. It says Kitten, but there are more, so we should put an S on that. They're so cute. Ben, Bengal cat, passed away 2 years ago. The Thompsons have selected Ben, a 1.5-year-old rescue from the shelter after interviewing over 100 cats. They transported Ben home in a zippered pet carrier, but the Houdini artist attempted to escape 5 times. Those cats will get you. They are smarter than we give them a lot of credit for. He unzipped the zipper, undaunted, then leaped at Evelyn, scaring her to death probably, then proceeded to lick her to death. For over 12 years, Ben was perfect. He fetched balls, constantly cuddled, swam in the ocean, and joined Evelyn and Ed on their sailboat as often as possible. Now it was time for Evelyn and Ted Thompson to get excited about a new Bengal. Evelyn researched catering websites and finally found a more reasonable cost for Bengal cats on Facebook Marketplace. The Facebook Marketplace reviews seemed good. Evelyn and Ed decided on the snow Bengal and started conversations about the parents of the kitten they chose. Facebook Marketplace asked for personal information, address, etc., and suggested a holding deposit. Evelyn preferred to wait until she was holding the kitten in her arms. She made an appointment to visit, and Facebook Marketplace replied a week later, encouraging her to make a deposit. Evelyn again said, "No deposit, but I can promise cash upon inspection." You got to be careful with Facebook Marketplace. Really, any of those buying sites. Okay. Facebook Marketplace has no secure payment options or phone numbers for returning calls. 2 long days passed, and Marketplace notified Evelyn and Ed, "Do you still want the cat?" Evelyn was very uneasy, but said yes, and I'm going to Raleigh tomorrow to pick up my kitten. Marketplace replied, "Great. Please get a Visa or American Express card for the total amount and send a picture of the card and receipt, and the new kitten will be yours." Evelyn still insisted on meeting the kitten's parents before making any decisions. Facebook Marketplace replied, "All right," but made no further comment or reply to her concerns. Yes, it was a cat scam. The Thompsons Googled the address on Facebook Marketplace and found it was an abandoned store with no occupants. Evelyn and Ed have resumed their search in other directions. Oh, well, I'm so glad that you picked up on the fact that this was a scam. Um, they are everywhere, as Facebook Marketplace, eBay, like, you have to be very, very careful, with where and how, especially animals or other, regardless. But I am so sorry about Ben's passing, and I wish you all the best in finding your new Bengal cat, okay? If I can help in any way, I'm not sure what that would be, but please let me know. Happy to help as much as I can. All right, we talked about carts a couple times in January, but do you need a ride anywhere? Call carts. The community center transportation can be a problem for some people in our community. Carts, which is the Craven Aerial Rural Transit System, is an ongoing service provided to all Newbern communities, and it's very underutilized in Fairfield Harbour. The Fairfield Harbour Property Owners Association Director John Rothengast recognized this and spearheaded a town hall meeting with Kelly Walker, CART's transportation director. Walker spoke of the Fairfield Harbour Community Center on January 17th to update Fairfield Harbour residents on the CART services and options available. Here's what we learned. The Craven Aerial Rural Transit System, or CARTS, serves Craven, Jones, and Pamlico counties at low or no cost. Transportation services are provided on a shared ride basis to maximize funding and resources. Services are provided Monday through Friday, except on certain holidays. General trips. CARTS can be used for shopping, bill paying, going to and from work, and other trips. Medical trips. CARTS passengers can ride to doctor's offices, clinics, hospitals, dentists, and other health-related visits. For reservations, trips are on a first-come, first-served basis and availability-based services, which you can call 252-636-4917 for reservations as soon as you know about a trip to make a reservation in advance. Let's say that you are just leaving a doctor's office today and you know you have a follow-up visit next Tuesday. Go ahead and call them today whenever you get home and make that reservation. Make sure you give them the travel time to pick you up, and then your reservation's already made. You'll be on time. Scheduling can be made up to 30 days in advance, but later than noon, 2 days before your trip. So you're not calling them with a last minute, hey, I need to go somewhere this afternoon at 3 o'clock. You need to call at least 2 days in advance. So please have the following information ready. You need your name and your pickup address. CARTS will pick you up at the address that you tell them whenever you make your reservation. Your phone number and the phone number for the destination. So if you gotta have your phone number, and then if you're gonna be going to the dermatologist's office, you need to have the dermatologist's phone number. The address of your destination, the date and time of your appointment, and whether or not you're going to need assistance on the trip. So, or whether you will have an assistant with you on the trip. So, for example, like with my dad, if we were going to call and make a reservation and he said, oh, my daughter's going to be with me, she helps me on and off, please make sure to tell them how many assistants you will be having with you. Transportation for the elderly or disabled is available with no fare for life necessity trips. Life necessity trip is a trip with a medical, including pharmacy or nutritional purpose. For the elderly, this program is defined as being 60 years old or older, disabled as defined by with a permanent disability. Eligibility will be verified, but you can call 252-636-4917 to become verified. Get all that done ahead of time, and then make your trips that much faster. So again, the phone number is going to be the same, whether you want to call and become disabled verified, or you want to call and make a reservation. That number again for CARTS is 252-636-4917. And we want to thank Kelly Walker, our Craven County representative, Gene Hodges, Billy Wilkes, and Jeff Wood, who attended the town hall meeting. Topics included updates on the state of the county's financials, a bit about economic development, parks and recreation, and transportation services available to residents. Thank you, John, for this update. I wasn't able to attend that. I had a meeting at the same time, but that's a good thing to have in Craven County. Let's see what Phil Hewett's got to tell us. He's our POA President, Property Owners Association President, if you didn't know, and he personifies strategic thinking. Oh, let's see. This is Phil standing in the Harbor Pointe restaurant. He's standing in front of the mural at the Harbor Pointe restaurant. Look at that. It's beautiful. Our POA President, Phil Hewett, is not one to remain idle, a fact that became very clear when we played phone tag for several days trying to find an hour to sit down for an interview. Once the interview happened, it became apparent that our community is blessed with a leader with a total package of energy, experience, and passion focused on making Fairfield Harbour a better place for us all, now and in the future. Our meeting at the Pointe restaurant for our interview is case in point. I was admiring the beautiful new appointments without realizing the extent to which Phil had been involved in making them happen. The lovely mural across the back wall consists of 5 10-foot-long panels of photographs from our area with the Pointe area as the central focus. Phil explained that he had solicited Fairfield Harbour resident and photojournalist Alan Fairbanks, who does beautiful work, to go out in Phil's boat with him to take these photos. Alan is known for his incredible photography and ability to incorporate multiple shots into noteworthy productions, and this mural is a perfect example of his expertise. Not only was Phil directly involved in procuring the photos, but he personally helped to hang the mural and the wavy baffles across the ceiling that bring to mind clouds and waves. He spent weeks working to help it all come to life, and after the new blue carpet with movement to represent water, plus new plantation blinds, and the entire room takes on an appealing ambiance, all at a savings of tens of thousands of dollars because Phil and others were willing to put in hours of physical volunteer work. According to Phil, this is what we can do when we put our minds to it. Wow. A recent enhancement of the point is added artists work around the room. Fairfield Harbour. Fairfield artists were invited to display their work, but it wasn't just a come and hang up some of your stuff invitation. Phil greeted the artists, had already ordered and prepared cable-style hanging systems on the wall, had contacts for the artists to sign, so 10% of any sales proceeds would go back to the community, and instituted a 3-month rotation cycle. This project allows Fairfield Harbour artists to display and sell their work, beautifies and brings interest to the room, and even provides a possible income revenue for our community. The Pointe's an excellent example of what Phil's leadership skills and energy have made happen in the past months. When asked why he decided to run for the board a year and a half ago, Phil explained, "I love this community and want to see it grow to its full potential. It's unique and special where we are and what we have to offer." I agree. Fortunately, this passion for our area bolstered by his unusual set of experiences and energy, a combination not always present in volunteer leaders. First, he retired at age 55 and just recently turned 60, so he brings relative youth to the position. Second, his career in the health and medical industry involved growing companies in the mid-Atlantic area to a $42 million territory. He explained that his work in the harbor approximates 80% of what he used to do. His previous career focused on making companies functional and profitable for years to come. That is precisely the business model that he has brought to this position as a president of the board in the past 6 months. He sees his role as similar to the CEO of a company, making sure the financials are in order, giving people the tools to achieve their goal, and looking ahead about 5 years with strategic planning. After listening to Phil talk, it's apparent that he personifies strategic thinking on steroids. He said, "We are in a stronger position than ever with increasing sales and trends. Fairfield Harbour was voted #1 in sales and production in the area last year, making it the #1 community in New Bern. Rather than having the proceeds go into a general fund for operational expenses, a general ledger account was developed for future capital investments. That resulted in the community's ability to purchase the property on the corner of Broad Creek and Route 55 that can be used to advertise our business activities, i.e. the golf course and restaurant. The goal is to create a revenue stream by leasing the property as New Bern's growth continues to explode over the next 10 years. This is just one example of some of the ideas that are churning in his head. The POA is now in a cycle where we can begin to do larger projects and focus more on development and not just management. So much has already happened in the first 6 months of his tenure. Last month's Beacon published a list of the many accomplishments. As a competent problem solver, Phil reorganized the directors according to their skill sets upon taking the reins of the POA board. Now, each director has a particular area of expertise for which they are responsible. Over the following months, the Beacon will focus on each one of those board members and their assignments. Fortunately, the board members, their meetings are now once a month and more streamlined, offering them more time to pursue their responsibilities. No matter how hard, smart, or passionate leadership is, people always have questions, concerns, and conflicting ideas. Phil's response to this is, "I love ideas. Bring them to me. I will do what I can to help get your ideas to work, especially if you bring me a solution and are willing to assist." He suggests to anyone that wants to be a part of the solution should join the appropriate committee. There's plenty of work to go around, and more people involved, the more we can accomplish. Perhaps Phil's most meaningful words were, "This is my job, and I love it. And if you aim at nothing, you will hit it every single time." He stressed that everything the board undertakes under his leadership is in-depth, well thought out, and with a method to the madness. After spending an hour listening to his stories, plans, and dreams and musings, this interviewer left feeling exhausted by the energy level he displayed, but confident that Fairfield Harbour is in excellent hands for now and in the future. This is great. I appreciate the enthusiasm. I love kind of the business centric focus on growing our community and getting the visibility out there. I didn't know if it was published recently that we were the number one growing area in New Bern. I think that's great. I think I love the ideas, and I think it's great. I know I've talked a little bit about, like, the 5K and things on, this channel before, and I've already been reached out to, with people also having similar ideas, and so I've shared some route options with folks, for 5Ks in the area that start and end at different places, so I am excited to be a part of the solutions coming forward, so definitely let Phil know if you have any ideas or want more information. I would just also caution social media is not the place to be putting those questions and comments out there. Yeah, I think we should all reach out to Phil. Maybe we do like a lunch and learn. People come and learn about your ideas for the future. And meet some of our other board members. I'm excited about that in the next coming. I'm looking forward to reading about who sits forward and kind of what their roles and responsibilities are in the future. So just some fun thoughts. All right, let's talk about the Fairfield Harbour water system. Did I click on it? It looked like I did, didn't it? Oh, there we go. All right, Fairfield Harbour water system. Over the years, there has been considerable talk about the water at Fairfield Harbour. The talk was not about the water we boat in, but the water we drink and the wastewater we produce. Where does it come from? Where does it go? This article will discuss some things you might be interested in within your own house as a resident. I will start with a description of the system at Fairfield Harbour. This is going to be a great article. Listen up. Drinking water for Fairfield Harbour comes from 3 wells that draw from the Castle Home aquifer. Water from those wells is pumped to a distribution tank located on Broad Creek Road, just past the entrance to Fairfield Harbour. The water is disinfected using chlorine and an addition of a chemical to reduce problems associated with iron and manganese. Treated water is pumped from the distribution tank to residents of Fairfield Harbour through underground pipes. The 3 wells and location of the community water tank are shown in Figure 1, and a picture of the community water tank and pump house on the left as you enter the community is shown in Figure 2. The drinking water system is owned and operated by Carolina Water Service of North Carolina. Okay, so if you're on YouTube and watching this, you can see the images. If you're listening to this on a walk, I will bookmark this in the YouTube description, and you can come just to this part to get this information. All right, so here in red, we have the wastewater treatment plant. This is, so if we're coming down Broad Creek, right? And then this is where we enter, somewhere right down here. Yep. We're going to enter here. So this is the wastewater treatment plant. And then here, up here at Broad Creek, oh, yeah, that's Cara. So we're going to enter down here. Okay. So up here we have the drinking water tank pumps, right on Broad Creek, right past Cara. And then the water wells. So we have 1, 2, and 3 water wells along Broad Creek Road. Okay, so those are all shown in Figure 1. You can see it here, the drinking water tank and the pump house. A picture of it here. The Fairfield Harbour Subdivision Water Treatment Plant, FHPOA, is located at the end of Broad Creek Road, receiving domestic wastewater from the Fairfield Harbour Subdivision and discharging treated water directly to the Neuse River. The plant is owned and operated by Carolina Water Service, as shown in Figure 1. The plant's current permit number NC0033111 was approved in 2018 and will require renewal at the end of June 2023. The permit spells out all of the requirements for treatment and discharge from the plant. As Fairfield Harbour is relatively flat, sewage from residents flows in underground pipes by gravity to low points. These low points are lift stations located throughout the community. Water is pumped up from the lift stations to gravity flow to the next lift station until it enters the treatment plant. There are 25 lift stations throughout Fairfield Harbour. A picture of a lift station is shown in figure 3. This is what one of the lift stations looks like. These throughout Fairfield Harbour on both sides. Carolina Water Service plants in Fairfield Harbour are regulated by the North Carolina Utilities Commission, which oversees their operations and sets billing rates. You may see trucks from Carolina Water Service throughout the community either testing the water, maintaining the lift stations, or repairing underground piping systems. They also have certified operators who run the wastewater treatment plant at the drinking water system. The overall system is depicted in figure 4. So we have the green here, okay? That's where it comes into the water tank. So we have the water from the wells goes into the water tank. There's 3 wells, remember? And then water goes from the water tank. It is pumped into our residences and through drinking water, potable water, goes out as sewage into the different lift stations, back to the wastewater treatment plant, and out into the Neuse River once treated. 2 critical systems seem to draw the attention of Fairfield Harbour residents: the cost of utilities to the homeowner and the quality of the drinking water we receive. As mentioned above, the North Carolina Utilities Commission regulates the cost of service. While homeowners can, should, and do provide comments to the commission, setting those rates is directed by North Carolina laws and regulations. As for the water quality, more can be said about that topic. Although water quality is also largely dictated by North Carolina statute, water utility customers in North Carolina are provided with an annual water quality report specific to their water supply system. Ours is these reports provided information on water quality required by law and demonstrate that the water system meets or exceeds state and federal drinking water quality standards. That is where many people can be confused. For example, our water may be considered very hard. I usually measure about 270 to 310 parts per million, that's ppm. I'm surprised I knew that off the top of my head. Of hardness as calcium carbonate. There is, however, no regulatory level for hardness and therefore no requirement to soften the water. While hard water cooling deposits on pipes, fittings, and utensils is generally considered a nuisance. Hard water has some reported health benefits. The second water quality condition we face in Fairfield Harbour is iron. Again, our water contains measurable levels of iron, can have a deleterious effect on staining things brown. In the case of iron, the NC statute is 0.3, so 0.3 milligrams per liter. Community water systems above this level must provide treatment to control water quality. In our case, in 2022, measured and reported iron levels were 0.18 milligrams per liter, which is only 60% of the maximum level. It should be noted that the first Craven sanitary district under the water tower next to the Food Lion water treatment plant includes water softening and iron removal. Past, Fairfield Harbour residents were asked if they would agree to the inclusion of water softening and iron removal by the Carolina Water Service, and the community declined this option. Hold on a second, let me read it. In the past, Fairfield Harbour residents were asked if they would agree to the inclusion of water softening and iron removal by the Carolina Water Service, and the community declined. I would like to know when Fairfield Harbour residents were asked if they would like to have that included and the reasons why the community declined that option. I think that would be valuable for people to know. And do we get the option to be asked again and be given new updated information on the pros and cons to having that done? Many Fairfield Harbour residents provide their own water softening and iron removal. These systems are relatively well developed for home use and can either be contracted for both installation and operation or do it yourself. Those softening systems in use are of the ion exchange type. These systems, drinking water is passed through a bed of resin beads covered in salt, typically sodium chloride, which is table salt, at the molecular level. Calcium and magnesium ions, they make up the hardness, displace or exchange themselves on the surface of the resin bead with the sodium. This is the ion exchange, calcium and magnesium for sodium. Your water gets more sodium, but the hardness is removed. After a while, the resin is coated with calcium and magnesium instead of sodium, and these are no longer removed. Before this occurs, the softening system undergoes a recharging of the resin. During recharging, the resin bed is disconnected from the house water line. A concentrated sodium chloride solution is passed over the resin and sent to the drain. This extremely high concentration of sodium strips off and replaces the calcium and magnesium sent down the drain, leaving the resin recharged and ready to continue removing hardness from your water. The recharged resin bed is automatically put back in service on your house water. For the single resin bed system, manufacturers recommend setting a recharge time in the middle of the night when no water is being used. There are many manufacturers of ion exchange softening systems. Some have two columns to eliminate hard water during recharging. Some use the mechanical rather than electrical controls, and some have sophisticated electronic control systems. These systems have a reservoir where the salt used for regenerating the resin is located. Salt must be replaced periodically depending on how soft you make your water and how much water you use. A typical home softener shown in Figure 5. One beneficial feature of most softener resins is that they will remove iron and provide softness. The iron gets attracted to the resin and is then removed during recharging. This is also a potential problem for the homeowner who does not clean their resin. Over time, recharging becomes less and less effective as the resin becomes coated with contaminants such as iron, which was removed. That builds up and are not removed entirely during recharging. Periodic resin should be replaced or cleaned using specially developed water softener cleaning solution. If doing this yourself, you should follow manufacturer recommendations. Another common home treatment system in Fairfield Harbour is a whole house water filter. This system comes in various sizes and have various filter elements that can be used. A typical whole house water filter is shown in Figure 6. The filter element used in this filter is a 5-micron spun polyester filter. It removes particulates as well as removes iron from drinking water. You can see in this picture that the filter element is turning brown, principally due to iron removal. This type of filter is usually placed before a water softener. Other systems are available, but these are the most common. Finally, there's been considerable discussion about smelly water. This topic has been discussed many times and predominantly leads to the water heater and is a result of sulfide production and the smell of rotten eggs or sewerage. While discussions on disinfecting, cleaning, drainage, and replacing the anode are all valuable, I have found that simple identification of the problem and subsequent maintenance has worked well. Most water tank heaters have a drain valve at the bottom of the tank, as shown in Figure 7. That's this drain valve at the bottom of Figure 7. Again, if you're listening to this and not watching on YouTube, I include a link. You can always also go to FHPOA.com and see the photos in this article. But if you open this drain valve and drain it into a bucket, you will see the problem is likely in your water heater. The water in Figure 8 was drained from a water heater into a bucket from a relatively clean system, while the water in Figure 9 was drained into a plastic bag from a system that was not drained for at least 6 months. Hold on, I have to go back. Okay. The black water was also very smelly. You can usually connect a short garden hose length to the valve on the hot water heater and allow it to drain until the water comes out clear. Water left in the pipes will still have the smell, but should dissipate quickly. The reader should note that not all home systems are the same, and any concerns or questions should be directed to Charlotte Water Service. In conclusion, Fairfield Harbor's drinking water meets or exceeds federal and North Carolina regulations. Our wastewater is moved from our home to a sewer system using gravity and lift stations to transfer the wastewater to a treatment facility at the end of Broad Creek Road. Once treated, the water is discharged into the Neuse River. Many homeowners provide additional water treatment, typically employing water softener systems and or filters. Proper maintenance of home systems is essential for those systems are able to provide adequate service. Finally, issues with your water system should be directed to Carolina Water Service representative. It's a lot. All right. Great job. I just learned a whole lot. But again, would be curious to know when or if we get the option to ask about having that iron and softener services reapplied by the Carolina Water Service. So, Jennifer, if you're watching this, I am going to read this, although I know on our last phone call, we talked about it not being widely shared, but since the beacon is now public, and this is not just for residents only, I'm going to go ahead and read this. But you are now the proud owner of a corner lot at the intersection of Route 55. We talked about this in January. Before exiting Broad Creek Road, turning towards New Bern, and the land immediate to the left is now part of Fairfield Harbour. Not a single dollar of your dues was used to acquire this parcel, and for years, if any POA-owned lot was sold, the proceeds ended up in a general fund, and those assets being lost forever. Since the last half of 2021 and in 2022, the new partners of the property committee have sold more real estate than in the last decade. And as a result of this influx of talent and sales, the POA board decided that any land proceeds should go into a separate general ledger account for future capital investments. We talked about this in the update about Phil and all of the business acumen that he brings to his role as president. So we now have this new general ledger item for capital investments. Underdeveloped land while sitting on the books is a liability, but once sold, the proceeds should be converted into an asset for the community and set aside for capital expenses rather than being used as operational expenses. Agreed. This new account has made the purchase of this new property possible. This is just one part of the multi-layered strategic plan to begin marketing our enterprise activities. Our restaurant and golf course currently are not self-sustaining, and we need to seek new customers. Again, Fairfield Harbour, the newsletter office, 252-633-5500. The security is 252-636-5566. I'm not really sure why that was copied and pasted from the beacon. Or from our newsletter in January. But if you have questions about the current gate code, sorry, I think that was copied from the newsletter. This is the same article. Sorry. It includes like all kinds of things. Let me just skip down. This picture of the sunset from last month. Page 2 of 10 in the restaurant. Well, anyway, we know about the purchase of that property. We talked about it in the January Beacon. We talked about it in a couple newsletters. We talked about it at the budget meeting. So congratulations, Fairfield Harbour, on the purchase of that property. I'm excited to see what we do with it to boost the awareness of our enterprise activities at the golf club and the restaurant. Though I am still a little vague on how we're going to do that and maintain the infrastructure from not only a security perspective and making sure we know who's coming in and out, but also from a Broad Creek Road perspective. Because yeah, I get road rage coming up and down Broad Creek, and that's before we bring more people down to enjoy our enterprise-wide activities. So anyway, let's see what the January 5th, 2023 Fairfield Harbour Property Owners Association annual budget meeting. I am just hugging this copy. I'm not sure if you can see, but here's a link to the YouTube video. Let's just see if we can watch this really fast. This is the video. No, it's not going to let me watch it from here. Okay, there it goes. This is the video that was used at the beginning of the Fairfield Harbour meeting. It's right at 6 minutes. There's no language. Let me see if I can go back and actually narrate this. Okay, so a budget is people telling their money what to do instead of wondering where it went. That's a quote by Dave Lacey. So things that were done with our dues in 2023 include a fantastic Fairfield Harbour, the Fairfield Harbour Property Owners Association improvements and events in the last 6 months. So we're going to go through those in slide format. We have the new property acquisition on Highway 55 and Broad Creek Road, and that is here in teal. We had the Fairfield Harbour Yacht Club Inner Harbor Flotilla, the Fairfield Harbour Golf Club crew, the new entrance signs, Pointe service team. We have a lot of folks in our neighborhood that couldn't read these, so Harbor Club location is here, so we're going to start touting that more. I just felt like it would be helpful to have a new Pointe kitchen team, including a new chef at the Pointe restaurant. The palm tree program was a success. Next batch is coming this spring, but they were planted. We have the community maintenance team photo here. We have a new fountain on hole 11. I think that's the one you can see from the road. It's really pretty. Walter Vick was newly hired as our architectural consultant for the Harbor Club. And if you're following that on social, there's been a lot of discussion there. Inner Harbor sunken barge and excavator removed. We talked about that earlier. There's a golf advisory panel. 35 new home construction permits were released in the last 6 months. The Fairfield Harbour Golf Club Pro Golf Shop team is pictured. Special events at the Pointe. This includes the Harbor Points players. Guess who done it? We painted and landscaped the golf maintenance building. There's a photo of it there. We have the POA office team. Kate, I hope you're enjoying your first month off. Stormwater drainage. Looks like we made some improvements there. Dog park upgrades, including a new sitting area. Shoreline landscaping was done. So if you like to ride our bikes along the golf cart trails, and that looks really good. At the ATM parking lot, that was repaved, and there was an expansion made to allow for the food trucks that come in and service our neighborhood. Street lights were added at the end of Broad Creek Road for improved visibility. Santa Lucia got repaved. The gatehouse was updated with new windows and doors. It looks good. Red Cell Park was paved. The Harbor Point Golf Club cart paths at 7, 13, 14, and 15 were repaved. The Harbor Point Golf Club and the Pointe Restaurant, we rebranded the Pointe Restaurant. Here's some photos of the before and the after of the restaurant. It does look really good. I'm planning to go Super Bowl Sunday, or at least stop by, because I'm interested in seeing all the people that are going to join. Improved beacon. And I'm anxious to see how big that space is. Entrance apron was repaired. Like I've been told, we couldn't have some of our meetings there because it's so small. But the new marine grade breakers were installed at both marinas. And the Christmas at the Pointe, the Miscreants Dinner Theater. The Christmas Parade. Again, a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun there this year. Chef Michael, he's our new chef at the Pointe Restaurant. Canavan Road was repaved. Magic Under the Stars. Is this the guy from Kool and the Gang? Harbor Point Golf Club had new sod installed. Movie night. Watched the new Mary Poppins. Spinnaker Court was repaved. Direct mail marketing for the Pointe and the Harbor Point Golf Club. There was a new entrance sign being created. It does look good. I'm excited to see what it's going to look like. All right, we have the 4th of July parade last summer. Pickleball court entrance repaved. Fairfield Harbor artists sell their art at the Pointe. It's a win-win for everybody. Cornhole and chili cook-off. And the 2023 Fairfield Harbour budget. Okay, so that was the video for the Fairfield Harbour budget meeting that preceded kind of us getting into the talking points. It included improvements and events that have happened over the last 6 months. So again, I'm not going to pull it up here, but the proposed budget for 2023 is now online for property owners. You can log into your Front Steps account. And again, if you have a smartphone, I would encourage you to download the Front Steps app. It's much more user-friendly. Log in either way, and the proposed budget can be found in the documents folder, fiscal year financials, and FY 2023. If you would like to submit questions, which you could have done that prior to the meeting, my understanding is that they took questions that were asked that we did not do at the meeting, and members of the board are answering those questions, and those should be coming out soon. I hope. So I haven't seen anything yet, but I also don't see minutes from the January board meeting out on the website either. So hopefully those things will be coming soon. But thank you so much for sharing that video in the Beacon. All right, let's talk about club updates. Red marker bloopers. I can only imagine what this is going to be about. Kathy King, thank you so much. The program for Fairfield Harbour Yacht Club general meeting on February 9th will feature a bit of club history and a lot of fun. What's a blooper? Googling, it's a mistake, especially an embarrassing one witnessed by other people. Anecdotes and stories are memorable, and in retrospect, a painful mistake can make a great story. We can all think about our own unique events. Many boating clubs have award for these teachable moments. The Fairfield Harbour Yacht Club awarded the red marker from 2001 until 2019, and Blackbeard Sailing Club has the blunder bucket. Notables from both clubs have qualified for these awards. So how did Fairfield Harbour Yacht Club come up with the red marker award? And Fairfield Harbour Yacht Club cruise leader, who happened to be the Commodore, warned cruise participants to watch out for crab pots. Several times, the Commodore watched so carefully for crab pots that he ran aground near a red marker. The wind pushed him further aground, and eventually he needed to towboat US. The fleet captain built an award that looked like a red marker, even writing a poem about the incident, and the red marker was given along with the serious and fun awards given in the fall of 2001. This program will feature 5 to 7 of your friends and neighbors who will describe their problems and what they learned from these events in 2 to 3 minutes. After each presentation, we'll have 2 to 3 minutes for comments, questions from the audience. Please limit your remarks to 30 seconds to allow others to speak. And a bell will ring. We're tight on time. We will all want our social wine and snacks. So do not cut into snack time, especially when there's wine involved. Non-members are welcome. This is happening on February the 9th. So next week, the meeting is going to be at the community center at 7 p.m. Quoting others, wisdom comes from experience, and experience comes from mistakes. Mistakes increase your expertise, and experiences decrease your mistakes. Love that. Gosh, I hope some of those stories will be written up and published here. Will it grow? I bet the Fairfield Harbour Garden Club can tell you. So at the first meeting of the Fairfield Harbour Garden Club in 2023, it was held on January the 9th. The energy level at the meeting was high, as Greg Fahey and Jared Dabney of North Carolina Landscape answered numerous audience questions and shared information on native and deer-resistant plants. Deer are a factor here in Harbor to consider, and consequently, residents are looking for ways to ensure their gardens and plants thrive despite the deer. Some deer-resistant plants Greg and Jared shared planting are barberry, daphne, Christmas fern, bleeding heart, yucca, crocus, echinacea, coneflower, black-eyed Susan, bearded iris, cryptomeria, and cast iron plant. Greg and Jared also discussed using moss as ground cover in the yard. For more information on moss as ground cover, deer-resistant plants, or landscape services provided by North Carolina Landscapes, you can call them at 252-658-1881. You can also visit them, see some of their plant recommendations, and get more expert advice each Saturday at the Newbern Farmers Market from 8 to 2. That's at 421 South Front Street. We have a really great farmers market. There will be new and exciting activities in the future for members of the Garden Club. What do members of the Garden Club do? What do they want to learn? The board of directors sent an online survey to access the membership's needs as future activities are planned. The results of this survey will be presented at the February meeting and used to guide future club planning activities. The board of directors is always open to member suggestions, so if you have any great ideas, please share those. The next meeting of the Fairfield Harbour Garden Club will be on February the 13th at the Fairfield Harbour Community Center. This meeting will begin at 9 a.m. The speaker will be Daniel Simpson, the Pamlico County Director and Extension Agent for the Horticulture and Agriculture. While outside 30 degrees as I write this article, it will soon be time for spring planting. Generally in New Bern, the last frost is around March 2nd, so now is the time to plant your gardens and get ready to start those seedlings. Remember, club members may post questions in the Fairfield Harbour Garden Club Facebook page, and for more information on the Garden Club, everyone is welcome to visit the website fhgardenclub.webs.com and attend the meeting on February 13th. All right, let's go to the Fairfield Harbour Yacht Club holiday race. The first race of the holiday race series was held on January the 1st. Happy New Year. This year's race was not well attended, but it was a glorious day for those boats that participated. The temperatures were in the upper 60s with light but consistent winds, with Mark Brennesol, Mark Hittner, and Jerry Rizab. Blue Note handily won the race and the coveted coffee cup. A thank you to Ralph Azurski, who was safety boat. This year's series is reduced to 5 holiday races with the Valentine's race next. If we have enough entries, we will have both a cruising class, navigator, and spinnaker class. For more information on how you can join the fun, please contact Russ Robinson. Here's his email address, r.rhubarb@gmail.com, or give him a call at 715-416-1439. We were in New York on New Year's Day. But 60 degrees was a lot warmer than my window. All right, Country Cruise and Biscuit Bombs on Saturday, the 21st of January. What do we think FHSCC is? I'm scanning to see if I can find out. Okay, I don't know what that stands for, but had an impromptu ride to the farmer's market and the Dale in Snow Hill, North Carolina. I enjoyed this Southern-inspired, grandma-approved kitchen and bakery. One of their specialties is the Biscuit Bomb, a gigantic biscuit filled with about a half a pound of cheese and meat. It oozes butter and cheese oil and can be very messy to eat. But I can't wait until next year when my doctor lets me go back for another. Everything they offer is excellent, and the pricing is very reasonable. If you're looking for a place to try, I highly recommend it. Next, we stopped at the Nuorca Natural Farm, which offers premium, all natural pasture-raised beef and pork products. There are no added hormones or antibiotics in their meats. If natural meats are your thing, then check them out. It was a delightful place to visit. Here's their website, nooherooka.com, or look them up on Facebook. They are only open on Saturdays, and you can call 252-747-5054 to see all their specials. On our trip, the special was brisket at half price. If you own a sports car and would like to join us for rides in North Carolina, I think this is Fairfield Harbour Sports Car Club. I think that's what we're talking about. Contact Ed. Ed is at Ed Bugaboo, Bugaboo, at suddenlink.net. I love the idea of a biscuit bomb. That sounded amazing. All right, and Fairfield Harbour Christian Women's Chat and Chew is coming up on February the 16th at noon. Please come out and fellowship with us. We meet once a month to enjoy great conversation as we get to know each other better, engage with other women of God while uplifting and encouraging one another and feeding our souls. Pack a lunch and meet us at the Activity Center right here in Fairfield Harbour. Again, that is going to be February 16th at noon in the Fairfield Harbour Activity Center. Bring your own lunch. All right. Let's think local and patronize the Pointe restaurant. Check out these upcoming events. Maybe. Dining out, think local first. Celebrate where you live. Keep your dollars where your heart is and support Fairfield Harbour by patronizing the Pointe restaurant. Enjoy a night out at the Pointe where you'll see many neighbors and be just minutes away from home. How convenient is that? Take advantage of having a restaurant and bar in your neighborhood and put your dollars back into Fairfield Harbour. The Pointe focuses on excellent customer service, good food, reasonable prices, and a fabulous local ambiance. Stop by on Thursday for dining and listen to live music. Browse the art and local Fairfield Harbour artists that are for sale and enjoy the artists are not for sale. Their art is for sale. And enjoy the unique atmosphere of the Pointe where you'll find good food, good drinks, and good times, period. Make reservations for Valentine's Day dinner at the Pointe by calling 252-638-5338, and when prompted for an extension, that's extension 4. On February 7th, there's trivia, and on Sunday the 12th, there is a Chili Bowl tournament and Super Bowl party. All right, so this is Super Bowl 57. LVII. Super Bowl 57 is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles, and starting at the Pointe restaurant at 5 p.m. We're going to start having food and drinks, and then I think the Super Bowl starts at 6:30, and the halftime show, I'm not sure, I'm not as excited about this year's, but Rihanna is performing. She just had a baby, so this is her first live performance in 5 years from what I've been reading. So definitely, if you're interested in the Super Bowl or the Chiefs or the Eagles or food or friends or meeting your neighbors, show up at the Pointe. I want to see that place packed. I think that's been the sentiment I've been seeing on Facebook, and we are definitely going to be stopping by. And then let's see, this is February the 22nd. Ladies Night and Wine, maybe it was rescheduled. I know it's been canceled twice now or postponed twice because of weather. And so, but I do see that it says here February 22nd, Ladies Night and Wine. So hopefully that will get to happen this year. And then we got in March, on Tuesday, March the 7th, there's trivia. And on March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, there's going to be dinner and music. It's a party. Eat, drink, and be Irish. Wear something green so you don't get pinched. There will be food specials, beer, and dance music. On March 22nd, Ladies Night and Wine. Maybe that's a monthly thing. March 25th, Blue Moon Jazz. Stay tuned for more details. So again, for those that aren't familiar with the hours of the Pointe, breakfast is Saturday and Sunday from 7:30 to 10:30 a.m. Lunch is Wednesday to Sunday, 10:30 to 5 p.m., and dinner Wednesday to Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. And to make reservations, to ask questions about the menu, or ask any other questions that you have, please call 252-638-5338. And again, that's extension 4 for the Point Restaurant. Ooh, Larry, what are we talking about with golf? We're gonna talk golf with Larry Ervin. The Beacon MGA February conversation with Harbor Point Golf Club member and Fairfield resident since 1996, Larry Ervin. Larry is a great guy, and he is lots of fun to get paired with in the Men's Golf Association events. The Beacon, thank you so much for spending time with us today. How long have you played golf, and who introduced you to the game? I've been playing golf for over 60 years. I started playing with a bunch of guys from work. This is an interview, so I'll be reading it as such. So the Beacon interviewer, Paul Cormier, which hole is your favorite at Harbor Point? My favorite hole is par 5, second hole. It's a demanding driving hole with water left and OB right, and a scary second shot with trouble left and right. The approach to the green is much easier when the flag is in front. A challenging green with lots of slope. I like it so much. Sometimes I play it on my way home. The second hole is one of my favorites too. You've been around here for a long time. Please tell us your favorite memory of playing in the Men's Golf Association event. I enjoyed the days over at Shoreline Course, just sitting around with the guys after golf, having a couple beers and having a few laughs. It's a lot of fun at the Harbor Point also. My wife and I also loved couples golf events here. We used to travel and play golf. We made lots of great friends here. You have a solid game. We know you have to shoot your age many times. How many times? Oh, I'm not sure. I remember the first time I shot my age, it was 73 and shot a 73. That's a goal many golfers have. Who is your dream foursome? Arnold Palmer, Sam Snead, Gene Littler, and myself. That's a great group. Gene Littler was a very underrated player, and you played other sports too. We heard that you're a good baseball player. Please tell us about that. I played semi-pro baseball back home in Pennsylvania, played second base mostly, and I played a bit of softball too. Larry, thanks for being with us today. I look forward to getting paired with you in the Men's Golf Association at Harbor Point. Larry Ervin is one of the true gentlemen of Fairfield Harbor, Harbor Point Golf Club, and the Men's Golf Association. The Harbor Point Golf Club Men's Golf Association plays Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. For more information, please contact Paul Cormier. His number is 602-509-2645. Great interview. It was nice to learn more about you, Larry. Let's talk golf with Trent Casey. Looks like Trent Casey, while this is pulling up, um, is part of the golf department employees. This month, we're talking with Harbor Point Golf Club Golf Department employee Trent Casey. Trent's a part-time employee who does a great job with the golf shop. He's very kind, polite, and always smiling, eager to help in any way that he can. And we're so lucky to have Trent on the team. How long have you been working at Harbor Point? I've been here for about 8 months, and I enjoy meeting new people and have met so many great people here. What do you like about your position at the club? I love the game, interacting with the members, and have built very friendly relationships with them, and the challenge of remembering names. Which hole is your favorite at the Harbor Point? My favorite hole at Harbor Point Golf Club is par 5, seventh hole. I made an eagle there recently. That's great. I've seen your golf swing. It's powerful and fluid. I'm sure you'll make many more eagles at Harbor Point and other courses too. Please tell us more about working at the club. It's fun. I have a great group of coworkers and we work well together. We have heard that you were gifted athlete growing up. What other sports did you play and how did those sports compare to golf? I played pitcher in baseball and quarterback in football. Golf is more of a mental test. Wow, you played the most critical positions in both sports. Excellent point. You make a perfect point about golf being a mental test. What other hobbies do you have besides golf? I like fishing, surfing, bird hunting, and all outdoor activities. We know you were currently a student. Where are you studying? I'm at Craven Community College studying computer integrated machining. I hope to have a federal position at Cherry Point related to computers. That's awesome. You have family bragging right matches at Harbor Point with your brother Tanner. How'd that go? We played a 9-hole match play game. Tanner beat me 2 and 1. I shot 41. He just played a little bit better. It was fun though. Thanks for spending time with us today. It was our pleasure. Trent, you're a tremendous asset to Harbor Point Golf Club, and your future is very bright. Thank you so much. Nice meeting you, Trent. That was a great picture of you and your brother, Casey. Man on the street with Walt Littleton restaurant. Have you heard our restaurant is open to the public to encourage dining for visitors and guests to Fairfield Harbour? It's a unique place, become a mecca for socialization and allows diners the opportunity to meet new people and reconnect with old friends. You people stop by for lunch and dinner on any given day, and it's a fun place to make friends and catch up with old friends. The Point's an excellent place for realtors to bring new clients for lunch and enjoy the atmosphere. Did you know we have a new chef? Chef Michael has revamped the menu and brought new dishes, promising more menu items in the future. The wait staff at the Point is friendly and welcoming. It's like a family. Did you know there's live music every Thursday night? Many different local bands offer a variety of music we all enjoy. The next thing you know, we'll be singing along and maybe joining in for a dance or two. The Point has special events that include murder mystery theater and trivia nights monthly. Did you know that there's a fish fry every Friday night, which is very popular? It's so popular that reservations are encouraged. Have you taken your significant other out for dinner at the Point? It makes for a great romantic evening on Saturday nights. Enjoy a delicious meal with soft lighting and soothing music while you dine. Have you seen the local artists' paintings hung throughout the restaurant and are available for purchase? I encourage our neighbors and friends to stop by and enjoy the delicious food and friendly atmosphere. Who knows, you might meet interesting people and have unique experiences. All right. Brian Joyner, let's see what's happening in your corner. We talk about the Frostbite Open from the start. The Harbor Point Golf Club hosted its first tournament of the year, the Frostbite Open. There were a total of 48 golfers that participated. The format was a four-person scramble where each player teed off and the team would select the best shot. Golfers repeated this process until the ball was holed. The closest to the pin competition was held on hole 3 and eventually won by Paul Cormier, who hit a fantastic tee shot to a couple of feet. Following the round, players gathered in the restaurant for a soup and potato bar treat. Thanks to everyone who came out to play, and congratulations to our winners. The winners, first, 57, Jim Dobson, Jim Rosania, Greg Smith, Tyler Fitzgerald. Second, 58, was Paul Cormier, Sally Cormier, Mark Carmichael, and Rick Topper. Third, 59, was Keith Swan, Brian Donnelly, Tim Welch, and Ed Edmondson. And fourth, 60, Frank Oito, Stan Kuntz, Jeff Kuntz, and David Lang. The Chili Ball Open is our next golf tournament scheduled for Sunday, February the 12th. That's also the day of the Super Bowl. So get there early at 10 a.m. Sign up with your foursome team online. Lastly, there's Ladies Nine and Wine scheduled for Wednesday. That got canceled. But we just read what the next one was, February 22nd. So you can register online or get more information at theharborpointgolfclub.com. And we're nearing the end of our golf cart lease. Club Car has allowed us to sell any of our golf carts for the price of $4,500. The carts will not be available for pickup until our new carts arrive in early May of 2023. But if you're interested in looking at the carts, you can call Brian at the Pro Shop at 252-638-5338. All right. POA sponsored events. Alex Williams is going to return for another concert. Alex, he returns Music Under the Stars on April 15th and again on September 15th, 2023. He was a huge hit on October 21st when he came to Pelican Park. He is a legendary singer from Kool and the Gang, and he rocked the night with 3 hours of nonstop music entertainment. The free event was sponsored by the Fairfield Harbour POA. Be on the lookout for special events coming up in the calendar soon. God, love some Kool and the Gang. Okay, peanut butter and jelly collection. We all love peanut butter and jelly. Two Rivers Church is collecting peanut butter and jelly for RCS, that's Religious Community Services. They are trying to collect 1,000 jars of each. The POA office is a drop-off point and will be collecting through the end of January. I hope we will see a report on how many were collected. All right. And then don't forget to donate your purses. I'm hoping, because we've talked about this a few times, right? That as we think about spring cleaning, we go through our closets and we pull out all those bags that we have never used, occasionally use, or have used and likely have bought more to fill their spot. So get those ready, because in March, the New Bern Women's Club is going to be collecting gently used handbags of all sizes. Again, size matters. The larger, the better. If you have started your spring cleaning, check your handbag inventory. Thanks for hanging on to those handbags for us until March, when we will be reaching out again to let you know the date and time for collections. The POA office will be one of those drop-off points. At the same time, separately, we'll be collecting toiletry items to be placed purchases into the purses before they are delivered to needy women in our area. So more information coming soon on when we will drop off at the POA office. But please collect all of your purses that you no longer anticipate needing, and any toiletry items. So if you're traveling and you see any, you know, shampoos, conditioners, soaps, lotions, in any hotels that you travel to, grab those, bring those back. We would love to include those in the purses as we give those to needy women in our area. And if you have questions, you can contact Ann Lewis. Her number is 919-414-1157. All right. Let's talk about the hospital auxiliary, because they gave back this holiday season. Look at all those stockings. The Fairfield Harbour Auxiliary volunteers finished the year in a very big way, with Santa and Mrs. Claus delivering 200 stockings to patients at the hospital during Christmas weekend. Santa has been visiting hospital patients for 51 years, and he and Mrs. Claus enjoy every moment. The auxiliary put these stockings together with care every year, beginning with cutting the stockings and embellishments in May, and by the summer and fall, the sewing is complete. All year, the auxiliary collects new toiletries like toothbrushes, lotions, shampoos, handmade picture frames, key rings, and mug rugs for teas and coffees, the deck of cards, pens, notebooks, and puzzle books. We all know that a hospital stay can be upsetting, but even more so over the holidays. And these stockings bring brightness and joy to patients and help ease their souls as their bodies recover and heal. We also include children's stockings filled with toys, games, and fun puzzle books. Ruth Blackwell, our auxiliary chairperson 2023 through 2025, undertakes the organization of this project with many helping hands within the auxiliary. Huge thank you to Ruth and the auxiliary for helping make the holidays stays over Christmas a little happier for patients. The Fairfield Harbour Auxiliary meets on the third Monday of each month at the community center from 9:30 to 10:30, and it's a great way to meet new friends, get involved in our community, and help Carolina East Medical Center. Please join us and see what we're all about. For membership information, you can contact Ruth Blackwell or Darlene Madorma, who is our membership chair. Love that. Oh, so cute. All right, upcoming events. We got a lot of upcoming events. Let's talk about Pendleton. The Solo Flights Club has invited local author and Fairfield Harbour resident Les Pendleton to be the guest speaker at their February event. The Solo Flights Club hosts a coffee and pastry pantry or party at the Chelsea on February 16th at 2:30. Les Pendleton has lived with his wife Suzanne in the harbor for many years. His writing style conveys the influence of his career in motion pictures. Many people share that reading his novels feels like watching the characters come to life on the silver screen. Actual locations in coastal North Carolina are featured in many of his books. His writing spans many genres, from action adventure, romance, historical fiction, suspense filled mysteries, and autobiographies. Les spends every free moment with his family and friends sailing in the Pamlico Sound and Atlantic coast. Les will chat with the group, answer questions, and autograph any of his books in the upstairs front room of the Chelsea restaurant, 335 Middle Street. Are you widowed, divorced, or single? You're invited to join the solo flights. Come and bring a friend. You can RSVP to Bev Cottam at 401 952 9295, or you can email her at bevcottam, COTTAM, at yahoo.com by Valentine's Day, February 14th. All right. So we have a pianist coming for Craven Concerts presents Elena. I'm not even going to try that last name. Sorry. But April 26th, doors are going to open at 7 and the concert's going to start at 7:30. But please join the Craven Concerts for a world-renowned Ukrainian pianist, Elena, who will present modern piano in concert, the fusion of popular melodies and classical style. Prepare to be dazzled by world premieres, virtuosic arrangements, and famous tunes such as Barbie Girl, The Sound of Silence, and the theme from television's celebrated hit Downton Abbey. Professional concert pianist and chamber musician Elena is globally renowned for her potent instrumental command, unique interpretations, and innovative programming. She enchants audiences with philosophical insights and charismatic stage presence. She has performed in more than a dozen countries, including her native Ukraine, the US, Russia, Mexico, France, Germany, Austria, Italy, Holland, and Japan. Thank you to the Gavigan Agency, our gold sponsor. So for tickets, go to cravenconcertsinc.org/buy-tickets. So about Craven Concerts. Craven Concerts' goal is to offer every man, woman, and child in this the opportunity to experience the magic of live performances by bringing artists and audiences together. The concept of providing live professional entertainment to communities throughout the United States was originated by Columbia Artist Management as Community Concerts, Inc. The objective was to nurture and support a permanent concert-going audience base through a nonprofit arts organization at the local level. Craven Arts Concerts Association was founded by a group of performing artists-minded individuals in 1947, and in the 1980s, the name was changed to Craven Concerts, Inc. Our annual series is now a tradition that contributes significantly to the cultural atmosphere of the area by bringing artists and audiences together throughout the magic of live performance. Love that. The Down East Dulcimers are going to be at Mardi Gras. Down East Dulcimers will be doing a Mardi Gras concert on Saturday, February 18th at 3 p.m. at the Fairfield Harbour Community Center. Authentic Cajun songs and other jazzy toad tapping music will be featured. So put on your beads and your boas and head on down to the community center. Again, that's February 18th at 3 p.m. There's a blood drive, February the 10th. That's next week from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at the Fairfield Harbour Community Center. If you needed a blood transfusion, would you take it? Where do you think that blood would come from? The Red Cross provides about 40% of our nation's blood and blood components from all generous volunteer donors, but supply doesn't always meet demand because only about 3% of age-eligible people donate blood annually. Each new donor helps us meet patient needs. Every day, adult patients of all ages, accidents, burn victims, heart surgery, organ transplant patients, and those battling cancer. Many of them will need blood, sometimes daily during chemotherapy treatment. Sickle cell disease affects 90,000 to 100,000 people in the US. About 1,000 babies are born with the disease each year, and sickle cell patients can require blood transfusions throughout their lives. The average red blood cell transfusion is approximately 3 units. A single car accident victim could require as many as 100 units of blood. In fact, every 2 seconds, someone in the US needs blood. It's essential for surgeries, cancer treatment, chronic illnesses, and traumatic injuries. Whether a patient receives whole blood, red blood cells, platelets, or plasma, this life saving care starts with one person making that generous donation. If you didn't qualify before, you may qualify now. If you don't like needles, you don't have to look at them. Most of us have plenty of blood, so why not give a pint? The next blood drive in Fairfield Harbour is going to be February the 10th from 10 to 2:30 at the community center. Appointments are needed. You can schedule online or call 1-800-RED Cross. There's a link here. And if you are a frequent donor, there is a, let's see, cross. There is a blood donor app. I have it on my phone because I've donated quite a few times, but you can log in to the blood donor app, and it's already on there. You can see it, this February 10th blood drive on there, and you can register through the app. And that's really good because the questionnaire that you have to fill out before, like drug use, activities that have happened before, right prior to donation, you can answer that questionnaire and get your blood donor card on once you log in. So it's all right there. You don't have to fill out a piece of paper, and you can get everything done before you get there. Makes it a lot faster process. All right. Tennis and pickleball classes are now open for enrollment. I am not going to read through all the dates and times if they are in here, but we are excited to announce the launch of our spring tennis and pickleball classes. They are now open for enrollment. We've talked about this, and they've been in the newsletter and the January Beacon as well. But please come join us for this exciting Fairfield Harbour sponsored program. There are links in the Beacon. You see the little arrow changes to a hand. That means it's a hyperlink. You can click there to view the tennis program, or here to view the pickleball program. And then all of the dates and times for the March through May seasons can be found below. And if you have any questions, you can email info@tennisblock, TENNISBLOC.com. They will be happy to answer any questions that you have. And don't forget, the cost is $85 for the season, and they have multi-participant discounts available when you register. All right, we're here to the last three, y'all. From the library. Did you know that Fairfield Harbour has a library? We do. Oh, what happened? The library is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for anyone to borrow books, DVDs, movies, and puzzles. We have a return cart near the door for your return of borrowed items. There's a large labeled bin for new donations next to the table in the library room. For your consideration, the library exists and operates solely on donations. We have an incredible selection of fiction, nonfiction, biography, autobiography books to loan. We also have DVDs, talking books, and puzzles. This selection would not exist without you. So thank you so much for your donations. Here are a few reminders when it comes to donating. We will gladly accept your gently used and loved reads to share with our community. Make sure books are clean and undamaged. We do not accept items such as cookbooks or coffee table books. We are looking to build a DVD and large print collection. So if you have any movies or large print books, please donate those if you'd like to. Puzzles with all the pieces are accepted. Just tape the sides of the box so the pieces don't fall out. And if you're cleaning out items or getting ready to move, look at your loved and gently used books. If you have anything that you would like to donate, please drop them off at the library. However, if you are looking to downsize and just need to throw out well-used books, please do not bring those in. Beverages, biscuits, and books. Fairfield Harbour is lucky to have an actual librarian on our library committee. Grab your beverage of choice and a snack and read recommendations from our library chair, Mary Hittner. Classic books at the POA library. Our POA library has a collection of classic books. These books are shelved on top of the center set of bookcases. Enter the library and look straight ahead, and there they are. We put a dark blue dot on the spine and shelve them alphabetically by author's name. What is a classic book? That's a great question. The dictionary defines a work of recognized and lasting value. Practically speaking, at the POA library, it depends on the opinion of the volunteer librarian responsible for cataloging the donations. When it's my decision as a weekly volunteer, classics are books that were assigned in college literature classes, books that were written years ago and are still in print, and books by well-respected authors. Think Hemingway, Austen, Kipling. Our volunteers will have different criteria. If it's been a while since you've read a classic, check out our collection. It's an exercise for the brain, and who couldn't use some of that? We have a great volunteer staff that curates our library, and our friends do weekly rotations. If you see any of them, please make sure to say hello and ask them what their favorite book author is. Jennifer Creech, Mary Beth Croft, Susie DeLong, Margaret Henley, Mary Hittner, Georgie Jackson, Julie Madison, Nancy McGuire, Susan McCrocklin, Jackie Moniak, Beth Palin, Pam Soap, Kathy Snyder, Lori Stillwagon, Evelyn Thompson, Catherine Van Leeuwen, Mimi Watrous, Francis Wood, John Wood. We are so lucky to have all of your donated books in our library. It's a beautiful resource, so check out the library next to the POA office. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact Mary Beth Croft. She can be contacted at marybethcroft@gmail.com. All right, free income tax preparation. I just saw a question about income tax questions on the social media pages this morning, and I knew I was going to be recording this today, so I will make sure to point that person to this article when I get back out there. So volunteers from the Income Tax Assistance Organization, or VITA, are pleased to provide free tax return preparation services in Craven and Pamlico County. The service is sponsored by the IRS, and all volunteers are IRS certified. Several residents of Fairfield Harbour are volunteers in this important service. The service is intended to assist taxpayers with low to moderate incomes but cannot handle some complex situations such as small business loss or rental properties. However, most returns are in the scope of VITA services. Starting on February 6th, services will be provided on Mondays and Tuesdays at the Harrison Center, which is at 311 Middle Street in New Bern from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., except for February 21st when it will be at the Pointe restaurant in Fairfield Harbour at 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. This service will continue until tax day, which is April the 18th, and you should bring all tax documents as listed below: your state or federal issued photo ID, Social Security statement, Social Security card, tax documents received in the mail during January and February. They will be recognizable by having a 1099 on the document. For example, your 1099-R or 1099-Miss. Broker statements, if applicable, 2022 tax returns, and any other documents you think you need to prepare for your 2023 tax return. Your tax return will be prepared with your participation through a 3-step process. The process is as follows. 1, you will be asked to complete an intake sheet, IRS or the 13514-C, and your tax documents will be checked against the information on that form. Your ID will also be checked. An IRS certified preparer will prepare your tax return while you sit with them. Also, your photo ID will be checked again. You are expected to ask questions and participate in the preparation of your return. All the information goes into an IRS-approved computer system called TaxSlayer. No information is stored at the preparation site. There is the option that the taxpayer can have the return prepared in their absence, meaning drop-off, or at least at the New Bern site. Once the preparation is complete, this is the 3rd step. A reviewer will perform an independent check, again with your participation. When this is complete, your returns are printed and signed by you. They can then be submitted electronically to the IRS and to the North Carolina Department of Revenue. Electronic submission is strongly encouraged as it bypasses the large backlog of paper returns sitting with the IRS. This can also speed up any refunds due. The completed returns and all tax documents are returned to you. Nothing is held at the preparation site. We recommend you getting your tax return to the IRS as soon as possible, as this locks your social security number so no one else can use it illicitly. You can find more information out on the VITA New Bern page at NewVita, so that's NEWBERNVITA.com. So that's great. So they are going to be in Pointe on February 21st from 9 to 3. Otherwise, you can go to them from February 6th until April 18th on Mondays and Tuesdays from 9 to 3 at the Harrison Center on Middle Street. Good job. We need all the help we can get. And then I did a whole separate podcast on this. I'll link to it in the section below, but there was a habitual felon sentenced to prison for their role in Fairfield Harbour larceny. I am not going to read through this in detail, but again, I will link through to this. And that concludes the Beacon for the month of February. Thank you so much to all of the authors that contribute to the Beacon month over month. It's a great read, and I hope everyone takes the time to, if not read it directly and comment and hit the little heart button on each of the articles, that you listen to it here and leave me comments down in the sections below and let me know what you think. So if you haven't already, I just have to say this in order to, stay within the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the Fairfield Harbour podcast. Make sure to like this video if you found any of the content valuable, and turn on that notifications, hit that little bell button, and then you won't miss anything when I post it. I also posted recently this week, I'm starting a new little series about voting. We have a big election coming up in 2024, which includes president and vice president, as well as a lot of our local and state offices will be up for re-election. And so we are going to start a whole series talking about who serves us here in Craven County, how we go about researching folks that are currently in office, making decisions on whether or not we think they're doing great in their office based on the role we elected them for. And then also, as we learn more about candidates that are putting their name in the hat for the 2024 elections, we will talk about who they are, what experiences they have, such that you feel like an informed voter on voting day. So I hope you will tune into that. There's a whole playlist dedicated to that, specifically on this YouTube channel. So please go check it out. I will talk to you soon, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye.